Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
Season 3
3
of
Pero
Let Me Tell You.
No.
Oigo.
Hi.
What's up?
Are we recording?
We are recording.
You just caught me watching. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the another quarantined episode 103.
103, nice and quarantined.
You caught me watching right now, and I'm going to put it on mute. The video of Will Young of Losing Myself, where there's like 6 versions of him, and he's like going crazy.
And it's like not him, but it is.
Yeah, but he's like going nuts inside his house. That is how I feel like right now.
Okay, why do you feel that way? I'm like loving it. I'm here, I work 9 to 5, I go for my shirtless jog, I come home, I do some stuff for the podcast.
Well, I think maybe because you're working and you're communicating with the outside world, but I really am not. And
oh, that's true.
I'm really not. And, you know, I'm...
Start reading War and Peace.
You know that I started reading War and Peace some years ago.
Well, finish it now. You've got the time.
Yeah. You know why I haven't... You know, the problem with War and Peace is that I actually started reading it, and I would say I got about a quarter into it.
Uh-huh.
But it was I did it on a Kindle, which I don't like to read on Kindles.
They give me a headache.
I did it on a Kindle. And then the problem is that when you read on a Kindle, it's not true to the book. So if you're on page 25 of the Kindle, it doesn't mean that you're on page 25 of the book. You see what I'm saying?
because it changes to fit the device.
Right. So
it's like page 4.
I have like a Kindle account on like the phone I had at that time, and I don't have, whatever. I got another phone, so I lost the account. So I don't know where I left off in War and Peace. And it's such a big book that it's like I'm gonna have to like sit down and invest time in it
to find where
where I left off. Yes, because it's War and Peace.
No, that's why I use. There's an app called Goodreads, and you can put in all the books that you've read or the book that you're reading, and then you can put what page you're currently on.
Oh, there's an app for that.
Well, it's the world we live in.
So
I'll tell you the one thing there's no app for: the damn vaccine for the coronavirus.
Well, welcome everybody. How's everybody doing in episode 103? Let's see. This is our second quarantined episode.
Yes, it is.
Our third coronavirus episode, and it just seems like that's just what it's going to be for right now.
I wish that we could somehow figure out how to monetize this and have them be the sponsors of our episodes.
This episode's brought to you by coronavirus.
At the very least, brought to you by the letter C and the number 19.
But that would make sense. So how's everybody out there doing? How do you think everybody's doing?
I think everybody's doing all right. I mean, I'm going to base it completely on the fact that they're still listening to us and that they are engaging with us a lot on Instagram. Thank you guys for that as well. It really does mean a lot to us that you guys, again, you're at home, you've got all the time in the world now, but you still choose to spend it with us, and that means a lot to us. So thanks for that, guys.
Yes. We're literally stuck in the same boat.
We are. Except if you're in South Florida, don't go out on your boat because you can't because they closed the marinas.
So today I was watching Dr. Phil, which I never watched Dr. Phil.
Why?
So that just tells you
how fucking bored were you? Like, what did you watch? Everything else on the internet?
Well, whatever. Well, I'm sorry. I'm responding to a text. This is the thing. I'm doing this on phone. Is that when you and I record, we go to the studio, we lock ourselves, and
we put our phones away. We put it down.
As we know, what was it? 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when we did the first episode where we really talked in depth about the coronavirus. We hunkered down in the studio to record our episode like we usually do, and when we came out, it was like a whole new world.
It
like,
was.
Tom and Rita had coronavirus, the NBA and the MLB had canceled the season,
It's
and
true.
you and I were like, what the hell happened?
And we just went out for like an empanada. Man, you know. Different world. Vastly different world.
Whatever. But anyway, hold on. Hi, everybody. I'm texting live on Pero Let Me tell you.
I will say this. I'm thoroughly enjoying this whole work from home thing because I get to literally sit at my table next to the big window. I open the window. There's a breeze. There's natural lighting in the morning. It's nice.
You like it because you don't have to put on a shirt.
And sometimes I don't even put on pants.
Please don't give us a visual of that.
Okay, so I shouldn't say I'm not wearing shirt or pants right now. Well, I drink a nice glass of wine.
I don't know about that. Okay, my text is done. You have all my attention now.
Well,
anyway,
thank you for joining us. The listeners are all
thank you
waiting.
for joining us. So now, okay, so obviously I was going to say, remember I was telling you I was watching the Will Young video?
Yeah.
Now I'm watching Robbie Williams' Let Me Entertain You. So as you could see, I was in a Britpop mood.
Yeah, you're in a mid 2000s British pop.
Really, but is there anything better than Britpop? I mean, let's be honest here.
There really isn't. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe Pimpinela videos.
Well, that's true. But even Pimpinela videos, you know, they're of its specific date and time. Oh, anyway, what I was getting back to this whole coronavirus thing. I was on Tuesday. I actually went to work,
to the office, right?
I went to the office, and I was there maybe 3 hours, and it's a ghost town. I mean, literally, it's a ghost town in my building. My office is in a professional building, and most of the offices are closed.
Right.
So after that,
it would be great, by the way, if everything was closed, but yet there was still that one person there asking you, ¿Dónde estaba la oficina de la doctora?
Oh, la doctora Bustamante.
That nobody can ever find, despite the gigantic
so to our listeners,
sign.
I forget if I've mentioned. Have I mentioned this on an episode before?
I feel like you have, but I don't know if it's that you have or because.
Okay, so let me set it up for our listeners.
Yeah.
So I've been in. So I work in one of those professional buildings in Hialeah. It's 5 floors, and generally most of the offices are doctors and lawyers, and there's a couple of photographers, and
really,
there's like a vocational school, but whatever. It's like one of those professional buildings,
right?
No big deal. So when you walk into the building, it has like a lobby, and obviously to your left there's the elevator bays, and then to the front of you, the whole first floor, except for the elevators, is the office of this neurologist called Maria Bustamante. Okay, so Bustamante is a pretty long name, right?
That's true.
It's not like it's Dr.
Lee.
Lee, 3 words, right? It's Bustamante. Okay. So when you walk into the lobby, the wall directly in front of you is these 2 enormous.
Listeners, he's not exaggerating. Like, I've been there. They look almost like they belong in like the Palace of Versailles. They're so gigantic.
They are enormous, and they're kind of like artistic, like modern artistic. I personally don't like them.
Bueno, pero modern artistic hace 10 años.
But the point is that you can't miss them.
Right.
They're huge. Now, next to the enormous doors, right? There is the doctor's name, Maria Bustamante, right? And the letters are enormous. The letters are probably, I would say, about 18 inches, high, right? And they're on the wall. The wall is navy blue, and the letters are silver. And it says Dr. Bustamante, Neurology Associates of Florida, Dr. Bustamante. This entire sign with her letters is probably about...
It's the width of the
7
wall.
feet. It's probably it's the whole width of the wall, and it's probably 7 to 8 feet long, and 1.5 feet, in terms of height, right? This is how big this sign is in the lobby of the building, and it's not a huge lobby. And there's nothing else there, just the wall with her name, the two doors, and the elevators. There's nothing else there, right? I can't tell you, in almost 10 years that I have been in that building, how many people would be there in the lobby, lost, looking for her office. They can't find her office. And now my office is now on the 3rd floor, but I used to have my office on the 2nd
And
floor.
again, just to remind our listeners, she is a neurologist, not a doctor for the blind.
Exactly. And when my office was on the 2nd floor, my office used to be right across the elevators, but on the 2nd floor. I can't tell you how many people used to walk into my office. Esta es la doctora Bustamante. Mind you, my door said Darian Borges in enormous letters, but somehow people would miss the enormous letters downstairs with her name.
While waiting for the elevator.
And then they would they'll get on an elevator ride and miss the sign on my door that said my name, but not her name. And now I'm on the 3rd floor, and my office is in a corner, and they still come
hidden.
asking for la doctora Bustamante. And I'm like, okay, what is it about the letters that you don't see? So that's why, like, when I'm there waiting for the elevator, and I see somebody a little bit, like, I could tell they're confused, I go, ¿Usted está buscando la doctora Bustamante? Mira ahí mismo. No, my favorite one was the one from 2 weeks ago. I told you it was like 2 weeks ago or like a month ago. I was there waiting again for the elevator. And
Lord.
She was lost. And she goes, permiso. Yeah, at the moment she said permiso, I knew what the question was coming. ¿A dónde está la doctora Bustamante? And then I go over by the sign and I point at the sign. And she goes, ¿Y cómo se entra? And I go, por la puerta. And she goes, ¿a dónde está la puerta? Aquí. And I go, aquí. And she goes, ¿cómo yo abro la puerta? La empuja. I go, la empuja.
Did she want you to go in also for her appointment? Like, just get her checkup for her?
I don't understand it, but this is a Doctora Bustamante phenomenon. I'm going to take a picture or like a video of the lobby and like post it so people can see. This is like a phenomenon. I don't understand. Because if it's 1 or 2 people, you'll say, bueno, son dos o tres locos, right?
Right.
But this is like, during the 10 years that I've been there, it's like hundreds of people at this point. So there has to be like a common like denominator as to why people do not see her name.
Maybe she's like the Hialeah equivalent of that Nelson Mandela thing.
That people
thought he would have been dead already for like 10 years.
Right. Or my favorite one was that Sinbad was in the movie Shazam. Kazam, was it?
Yeah. But it's actually Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah.
You know what's funny? That I fell for that because when I first heard about that, I even thought about the poster. The poster was like purple.
Yeah, and it's Shaquille O'Neal as a genie.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, so I know que completamente te desvié, but so you were saying you were in Hialeah and it was like a ghost town?
Hialeah was a ghost town. So I said, I shouldn't have done this, but because since I'm home bored, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to mulch the backyard. So I'm like, let me go to Home Depot.
That's awesome,
and get some mulch.
Mm-hmm.
But in Home Depot, they're practicing social distancing like it's mandatory.
Right, of course.
So they're only letting 10 people in the store at a time.
Okay.
And outside, there obviously is a line, and there's an X. There's an X like where you're supposed to be standing.
Yeah. They had that at Target too.
So the other day, I went and I stood in line only a few minutes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to stand in line for mulch. Like, never mind. But I was about to take out my phone and record it, so I could post it. Los dos viejos que estaban delante a mí, los dos viejos cubanos.
You've got to share.
It was wonderful.
No, you have to share.
It was what you and I have laughed about hypothetically. They're like, no, eso es una exageración. Aquí que eso es un flu, que tanto, de qué tanto. Tú sabes cómo son la gente exagerada.
O sea, un poco más, and they just start sneezing and coughing on each other to prove a point.
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, we talk about like old Cuban men because obviously that's our point of reference.
Right.
But it's like, okay, apparently nothing in Cuba ever happened because they're always so doubtful when things are happening here.
Well, it's an island.
The hurricane, a hurricane, every single model can show that the hurricane is coming and they'll be like, no, that's not coming.
They're like, no. Esas son cosas de los medios.
I want to get to like the psychological, like the psyche on the denial. Like, why is there so much denial?
Well, maybe La Doctora Bustamante can have a neurology test on them.
Exactly, full circle, baby. So, yeah, but you know what? It's just interesting, especially with social media, as we obviously see that know that social media connects the whole world.
Yeah,
it's sort of kind of incredible that, like, again, when you step back for a moment and you think about it in the most rudimentary and simplistic forms, that I can't think of another event, and not only in our lifetimes, but I mean in a very long time, in centuries even, where the whole world has been going through something at the same time.
I'd say World War II was probably the last time.
Yeah, but even World War II, not all countries were involved in World War II.
True, but I mean, everybody was affected in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Because
but I mean, but at the same time, like, everybody's dealing with this at the same time. Although, as we've talked about this, a lot of Latin American countries and African countries have been spared, the brunt of it.
But they're still dealing with it. They're taking action.
They're still dealing with
total
it.
Proactivity.
And a lot of scientists expect their numbers to rise soon.
Yeah, as winter kicks in.
But it's just it's kind of incredible and, like, interesting but weird at the same time.
I agree, but there's, like, again, looking para el lado positivo, right? There's something. I'm choosing to look at, like, the on the positive side of things. Like, in my area here, I mean, I live in Coral Gables. And, like, when I go out and jog, there's people out and about now. Like, and not like out and about like before. Like, there's people taking, like, their kids in, like, a wagon. There's families riding bike. There's more people walking and jogging. And I guess a part of it is just because you are cooped up all day. Like, you're working from home all day, right? Let's say best case scenario, you want to at least get out for a little bit. And I don't know, there's something nice about that. And it's also kind of nice to see that, at least on Instagram, to a degree, social media hasn't just devolved into a cesspool of hate. On the contrary, it's turned into a lot of, like, hey, this restaurant is doing this local business is doing that. I mean, I will say I credit social media as a whole for being the reason that we now have that, that hour of shopping for the elderly in the morning amongst several supermarkets, because that was a social media initiative. I mean, that was something that started on social media, like, hey, supermarket, and they listened and they did it. So I hope that we all, once we go back to, our regularly scheduled program that is our lives, we remember this and we kind of treasure the good parts of it, and we don't just kind of, like, wash our hands of it, especially because there's no paper towels.
You're gonna have to just wipe yourself on your pants.
But I don't know. There's some positivity being put out into the world amidst all this insanity, and so I hope that we kind of hold on to that a little bit once it's all over.
Your pretty little PSA. I'm about to break it down because actually, I started saying that I was watching Dr. Phil. So yeah, Dr. Phil was on, and today he was interviewing a couple of people who are naysayers of what's going on, and he interviewed.
Oh, it's a new episode.
Yes, it's a new episode. He was doing it from his kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So he called in, via video chat, this girl who's like, she's like a major social media influencer. She has, like, I don't know, 2 million people.
Is it Tila Tequila?
No, her name is Ava. And
Ava Save-A-Lot?
No, I don't. They just said Ava. And she was actually one of the people down here in Miami for spring break.
One of those Gen Zers.
That's why, before I get into it, on my personal Instagram, I had a couple of people throw little jabs at me, like, "Oh, what are you Floridians doing going to the beach?" And I'm like, no, stop right now. Thank you very much.
Vaya, no te equivoques.
I'm like,
that's
no.
Pero sí, es que that's why I posted. That's why I posted what I posted on our page, because I was like, that's not us, boo boo.
Yeah. We don't go to the beach. In fact, first of all, we don't go to the beach in March.
Right. Let's start with that.
Second of all, spring break is something that in the city of Miami or city of Miami Beach, I can't think of any other, like, vacation destination that has flat out said that they don't want spring breakers. Because even before this year, with the whole coronavirus thing, Miami Beach has made it very clear that they don't want spring breakers.
They've been trying to do everything possible.
Miami Beach, not that Miami Beach is this bougie, like Monte Carlo or like Monaco type place, but Miami Beach is not, and this is not to shit on Daytona Beach, but Miami Beach is not Daytona Beach. Miami Beach has a certain like class to it, even though you can go and party your ass off and do drugs if you want.
Yeah, this is very true. Pero tiene su caché. It has its right.
Miami Beach and South Beach are at a certain like level that it's not a party town. Miami Beach is not. When I mean party town, it's not like a college party.
Yeah,
town.
It's
That's
weird
I mean.
because it's
like a Panama City or Daytona Beach.
Exactly. Like it's a party town, but everybody's in heels.
Yeah, and Miami, and the city of Miami Beach has they verbatim said it, that they don't want spring breakers down here, and a lot of businesses close during spring break because they just don't want to deal with it. But aside from that, I got a little bit of nonsense from a couple of people like, oh, look at what you guys doing. I'm like, no, boo boo, no. That's not us.
No to bring it home to the fact that it's at the beach. No te tires donde no das pie, okay?
Yeah, no, that's not us. But anyway, back to that. So Dr. Phil was interviewing this girl who, she's like a big influencer or whatever, and she took a picture of her licking a toilet on an airplane.
Oh, that bitch!
It was her. Oh, you know what picture I'm talking about?
I know exactly the picture you're talking about, because the first thing I thought of was like, yo sé que ella no es latina.
No, she's a white girl. And her lips are majorly done. So she was there on Dr. Phil.
That's why she did it. She couldn't feel anything.
She was on Dr. Phil today saying, first of all, she kept calling him Boomer, and she was there saying that, she's 21 and she came to Miami and she was with 1,000 people. These were her words, that she was promiscuous. She made out with a bunch of people. She did a lot of drugs. She partied and nobody had the coronavirus.
All right,
nobody had the coronavirus.
So listen,
this was completely made up by boomers like Dr. Phil to manipulate them. And and Dr. Phil was like, he explained to her the whole thing that you could be asymptomatic, and he's like, and you don't care if like you give this to somebody old, and she's like, I don't care if they die. They're old. They've already lived. I'm 21.
Oh, now, wait, she must be the daughter of that Texas governor, right? Who says like old people should be taken to the streets and die in favor of the economy? I mean, didn't you lock your abuela out of the house because we left ours in a field?
You know what though? I actually was upset that Dr. Phil, I know why Dr. Phil brought her on, but I was upset that he even gave her that platform because she's obviously saying all this to be outrageous and to get attention.
Of course she is. She has no self-esteem. She looked at
anyway, speaking of outrageous, there's somebody who actually wants to talk to you. So I need for you to cue them in.
Okay, let's see. Who am I
calling?
calling?
I'm gonna text you this person's phone number.
Okay.
Oh, well, actually, you could just edit. I'm going to give you the phone number. You could just edit it out.
Hold on. Oigo?
Yes.
Well, who do we have the pleasure of joining us on our quarantine episode?
Look, I've got a bone to pick.
Listen, that's between you and Marcela. I don't.
Well, everybody, to our listeners, we have on the line the one and only Seth Burger Beast, who has a bone to pick with one of us, and it's not me. So, Seth,
wait a minute.
But let me tell you for a third time.
Thank you for having me again.
Wait a minute.
Big fan of you guys.
What's the bone that needs to be picked over here?
Look, yeah, you're part of this bone.
Oh, not the first time I've heard that.
I'm appalled, insulted that you would make a turkey frita out of my recipe.
I told you.
All right.
Mine didn't I tell you?
All right. So
Actually, no, wait.
so
it's
listeners-
recorded. It's recorded. Last week I told you.
Okay.
You're making burger beast recipe.
all right, listeners.
Turkey?
So I recently used Seth's recipe to make a frita, which is a Cuban hamburger. Now, the problem is that the only things I could not find like actual like meat, like ground chuck. I found ground turkey, and I couldn't find regular potatoes. I only could find sweet potatoes. So I made the recipe using
So in other
those
words,
substitutes.
you made a completely different thing. You made a completely different burger.
No, because the
I would like to say that's called an abomination.
Hey, at least it is not a soy burger, okay?
That might have
Let's
been
just kill
better,
the man already.
but there's no such thing as a soy burger. But let's not get into that.
Well, okay, at least I didn't make it out of soy. I agree with you on that one. There's no such thing as a burger that has soy in it, but yes. So I had to use what I had, but you know what? But you know what? It was delicious, and I can't wait to go out and buy actual meat and try it again with your recipe again.
I'll be honest, it's too late.
It's too late.
Man.
That's it. There's no redemption.
You crossed the line. You crossed the line. I'm actually gonna go pick it outside of your next recording. I'm gonna bring the real old school Cuban. I mean,
all the ones from Tropical Park.
Old school Cubans get angry if you put American cheese on a frita. You just like turn this on its ear.
I'm picturing
I just want to say for the record, I told him not to do it, and I think in last week's episode,
It is there.
he mentioned he was going to do it, and I told him, "Don't do it, don't do it." I just want to say that I am on the record defending your recipe.
Meanwhile,
That's all
I'm just picturing
I appreciate it.
I'm picturing Seth leading like a bunch of like los viejos that do the protest in front of Tropical Park with the Trump flags like outside my building, but with fritas on it instead. That's what I'm picturing.
Look, I'm picking up a shuttle bus. Picking up some of my old school gang, and I'm headed over there.
Starting at Leon and making your way.
Don't tread on my frita.
And by the way, I do have to thank Ish for something because I really wanted to order from Tio Colo's Cuban pizza the other day, and I felt guilty ordering all the way where I live pizza, and I was like, the only way I'm going to order is just someone else ordered, and Ish lives a little farther, so I go, I don't feel bad. I'll piggyback on his delivery.
Ya que están in the area.
I order also.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really
We're in
good.
the same vicinity. We're in the vicinity.
Exactly, más o menos. Actually, you know what? I want to turn around and I want to say a big thank you to you as well, Seth, because you have really been, again, obviously I know you love this word, you're an influencer here, but, you are using your powers for good in this time. I mean, you're promoting who's open, who's got delivery, eat here, these guys are delivering, there's donuts, there's, and that needs to be applauded, commended, and just, I have no skin in the game. I don't have a restaurant or anything, but I want to thank you because I think that just, again, something we already know, but it shows, your character and who you are. And I know you like to show off that you're a big jerk, but you're not.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. I really appreciate it. My grandmother passed away in 2001. I need an abuelita who talks good about me. If you want to go ahead and take on that job, I would really love that.
As long as you're okay with an abuelita who doesn't wear shirts, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I actually look forward to that.
No, but it's so important for these small businesses
Yeah.
to, have some type of lifeline during this because we don't know when this is going to end,
Yep.
how long it's going to be, and
And also,
these
guys,
people depend on the community.
and when you're ordering from these restaurants, if you're in the Miami area and you're ordering from these restaurants, find out if they also sell burger beast sauce, because you know what? We could all use a little burger beast to get us through this, and the sauce is actually pretty damn good. So, gonna put that out there because I know you won't promote it, you won't plug it, but I'll plug it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did want to say one of the things since you're mentioning the restaurant thing. A lot of people kind of aware they do a lot of delivery, and I know that there's people who also live off of the whole Uber thing. But the restaurants, I'm not sure if a lot of people realize all the third-party deliveries take a large percentage of the money from them.
It's like 30%, right?
25 to 30 to 35%. So in some cases,
Oh my God.
find out if there's a way to pick up the food they won't get charged that fee. So if you order it and just pick it up, more of the money will actually go towards the restaurant and help them stay open.
Actually, in some of these places, even, I mean, they are offering free delivery. And so what I would actually suggest is that if, let's say, you are in a position where you're having it delivered directly by these restaurants, what I would suggest you do, which is what I've been doing, is take whatever that delivery fee would have been and just add it to the tip, so that it goes back to these businesses.
Well, the tip actually goes to the actual company.
No. I'm saying if you do it, if
Uber.
No. But I'm saying if you order direct, like what you're saying, like order direct with these restaurants.
Right. If you pick it up,
right. They actually, but some of them actually offer like free delivery, like to a degree.
Like Arbetters now is doing that. Like David Arbetter will actually deliver your hot dog, which I think is pretty funny.
You shouldn't have said this to me because
if I saw David Arbetter, I don't know if I'd open the door to him, but.
Oh, well, I'm ordering Arbetter now that I know that David Arbetter's the one doing the deliveries for sure. Like, yeah, I'm done. I'm doing it. But yeah, no, what I'm saying is like, how normally you would have to pay that delivery fee on Uber, add it to that direct, delivery that you're dealing with the restaurant, but as a tip, just so that money, you would have paid it anyway, guys. Yeah. Might as well keep it, pump it back into these small businesses.
Yeah. So
I'm going to do one last warning before I let you go, because I know you guys got a show to do. But I'm going to do a recipe very soon for a frita meatloaf. And if I find out or even get an inkling that you're going to do a turkey meatloaf, we're going to have some bad problems.
I'm not going to let him. I'm not going to let him ruin your brand. Ruin your legacy.
Oh, no.
Well, so don't worry. I'm not going to let him.
DJ, I appreciate that. That's why I'm going to bring you a frita meatloaf sandwich. Because you deserve it.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
No.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by.
We were able to chime you in a bit.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I got my eyes on you. All right.
Take care. Love you.
Be safe out there.
All right. Bye.
Well, that was our favorite beast.
That was our favorite beast. And you know what? There's nobody I'd rather have for our first full cuarentena episode than Seth.
Well, but then we really have him. Not really.
Well, I think over the next couple weeks, we're not going to really have anybody on. It's all going to be very virtual. I mean...
No, I would like to think of when this is past, we do our regular episodes. This is like the quarantine suite.
Oh, yes. Like, this is the ones that we would, like, submit for, like, an Emmy nomination, for your consideration. Is that...
Our quarantine suite of episodes,
We could name it, you know what? We could name it the Corona Cuarentena episodes. Doesn't that sound like a novela?
Yeah. So now that, you're at home and you're like, you have so much time on your hands.
Yep.
Like, today I was watching That's the Way Love Goes, the video for Janet Jackson. And you know that Jennifer Lopez is in that video.
Yes.
And I started thinking, I'm like, I wonder if Jennifer stayed in touch with Janet at that time. Because, Janet obviously was the bigger name at that time, especially.
Right.
She's like, I wonder if they kept in touch. I wonder when's the last time they saw each other.
It's funny that you say that.
I wonder if Janet saw her Super Bowl.
She probably did, and she was probably like, girl, I know what you're going through. Give me a call. But it's funny you say that because today on Instagram, I actually looked up Tina Landon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because since Debbie Allen is doing those Instagram live dance classes like 2-3 times a week, I was like, maybe Tina's doing one, but Tina hasn't been active on Instagram since like September of last year.
Oh, okay. Oh my God! Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. You know who is no joke on Instagram Live with her workouts?
Ying.
Because I'm like going crazy. Okay, before I get into that, let me just tell you how I've been searching for like a week now for resistance bands because I feel that I'm turning into the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Go to Target. I think I saw some today.
No, mijito. Go to Target. I've been to 4 Targets. I've gone to Target online, and they don't exist.
It's funny you say that because I thought that I had resistance bands, and I can't find it.
No. And I've been online. I've been to Amazon. I've been to Dick's. I've been everywhere, and I can't find. They're gone. They're gone. Because everybody's ordering them.
No, sure.
And como se llama? So I was like, oh, let me look at some of these like online or Instagram things that people are posting. You know whose workout is freaking no joke? It's Candace Cameron's.
Really?
Candace Cameron from Full House.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she's very into fitness.
Yeah,
and
she looks great. I mean,
they are no joke. And I was like, whatever, I could do this. And when I started doing it, I was like, by like the 10 minutes in, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die.
What does it consist of?
It's a lot of it. It's cardio, but like weight, but it's like weight using your body. Like, you know, she does one-hand push-ups.
She does.
Yes, she does. And then she does like planks, and she does all this stuff. I'm like, no, I can't. I don't have Candace Cameron's body.
It's all that Starkist tuna.
So actually, you know who I would love to hear what her quarantine days are going by? Let's ring in, since we're ringing in friends. Let's ring in Stephanie from Mamas and Murdo.
Ooh, all right. Let's see. Let me dial her in. It's so funny
because I'm sure she has a lot to say.
It's funny. As I'm looking for her name right now. Do you know how I have David in my phone?
Oh,
I have him not as David. I have him as Stephanie's husband.
Oh, no, David is under David in my phone. I don't have a picture of him.
I have him as Stephanie's husband. Oh my goodness, where did it go? Hold the hell on. Here we go. All right, let's give her a little bit of a buzz here. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
How are you?
Is this Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Are those my voice?
You know it.
How are you guys?
Good. Stephanie, we were just talking because I was telling Ish that, you know, I've been trying to look for resistance bands to do something like working out at home, but I couldn't find
But
them.
why?
Because we have to stay fit.
So I was like, okay, let me go on Instagram and do one of these like celebrity workouts. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do Candace Cameron's because she's still posting live every day her workouts. And I was like 10 minutes into the workout. I was like, screw that. So I was like, I wonder what Stephanie has to say about this.
I'm shocked that you went to find Candace Cameron's workout.
Well, I mean, she's in good shape, and I mean, if that's what happened,
amazing shape. I mean, did you watch this? Am I the only one that saw her on Dancing with the Stars?
Of course not.
Yeah,
you know we all did.
Yeah, I saw her. Yeah.
You know, she's in great shape. So, and she's. I feel like she's petite. I don't know.
She is. She is. We saw her in person.
Well,
it's not smoke and mirrors.
She does one-arm push-ups, and I'm like, how much do you weigh? Like 120?
Yeah.
I'm like, I weigh
a lot more than that.
A lot more? So this arm has to lift up a lot more than that.
But you also have to remember that she's rich, and she's been rich her whole life. So she's probably always had access to like nutritionists and trainers. And
plus her husband's a hockey player.
These are the kinds of things that I have to tell myself when I don't look like that. And I kind of just have to, like, you know, if I had the resources, I would look like that too, is what I...
Listen.
Well, in all honesty, her Instagram live feed of her working out is with her personal trainer.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
Wait, shouldn't he be quarantined?
However, if you do want a good workout, I suggest Debbie Allen's weekly dance classes.
I was just talking about it.
They're fantastic, and after, like, 10 minutes, you want to kill yourself.
But, like, in a good way.
Yeah, no.
Like a happy death.
What?
Like a happy death.
Yeah, exactly. You're happy because, like, Debbie Allen is leading you there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how's quarantine life treating you?
I gotta say, I don't hate it. I'm weird because as much as I'm very social and I like to hang out with people and I like kind of like, you know, being around. I'm also totally fine with like staying home and watching Netflix all day. So I'm okay.
Now I have to say, you, my dear, are a bit of a not a lifesaver, but you have allowed me to expand my streaming horizons by.
I feel like you and I have bonded on such a deeper level because of this.
So for those of you who don't know, there is a streaming app out there. Darian, this has of no interest to you because it's Broadway HD. So it's
Darian could care less.
he could care less. But there's also plays. It's not just musicals. There's also plays on there. And so she
there's really good plays too. There's the Patrick Stewart Macbeth that the Cold War Russia is on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really
the Orlando
good,
Bloom Romeo and Juliet, I think, is there too. Yeah.
There's a lot of really good plays on there.
Well, I'm going to contribute to this conversation by saying that I saw a meme that says that the coronavirus is nature's way of getting back at us for doing cats.
It might be.
It might be.
I mean, it might be.
Coronavirus is the human version of mange.
Cats is really bad. It was really, really bad.
And yet they try to charge us now $20 to see it in our comfort of our own home.
I know. What?
I have to tell you that I have no interest in seeing cats whatsoever because I don't care for that genre. But now I think I want to see it. It's been so bad that now I'm curious.
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't like Cats. There's like not very many musicals that I don't like, and Cats is one of the ones that I actually
not a
can't
fan.
stand. There's one good song that everybody waits for. It's like almost at the end, and after that, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But I needed to see. We went because I needed to see the spectacle. I needed to see the shit show. And I don't know how much you guys have discussed it on the show. I don't really remember if you have or if you haven't, but I mean, it was worth the price of admission just to see like human hands on cats that just weren't.
It was worth the price of admission to just go drinking with you and then go see it together.
Well,
that was alone
that was the other thing. Is that I took the people that I invited to come with me are like people who I knew were going to get drunk and enjoy it with me and take it at face value.
Yeah. I mean, I can sum up all of Cats like in like 2 minutes. It's like Jellicle cat, Jellicle cat, Jellicle cat, memory, Jellicle cat, dead. Like that's it. That's it. It's just I did it. You're talking about a play that the plot is like they're putting on. I don't know how many musicals you've ever seen, Darren. I don't know if you've seen any at all.
I've seen a few. I've seen more than you think.
Okay, so you know how like there's usually like one or two songs to introduce like the main character, and that's it. Like this entire show is just characters introducing themselves.
Yes.
And the point of it is it's because they want to get picked to die. So
yeah. It's like if Waco was a musical with cats. I mean, it's
oh my god. Well, what I always say about anything, what I always say is like there was a board of a group of people, like a boardroom that approved the green light, that gave us a green light. That said, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's go with it.
It's not even that. It's that there was also like they spent a lot of money on this movie. There was a for-your consideration campaign, like ready to go. Like they thought this was gonna win Oscars. Like they took it so seriously, and I don't know how or why or what. I mean, the Broadway show is beloved. Let me tell you.
I also don't know why. It was the longest running at the time that it ended.
It was the longest running at the time that it closed. Phantom has long since surpassed it. But
what has?
I've seen that one.
Phantom of the Opera.
Really, Chicago hasn't?
What was that? No, Phantom of the Opera. Chicago is the longest running revival.
Got it.
But Phantom of the Opera is the longest running.
Yeah, no. Phantom of the Opera has been for a while because I saw Phantom of the Opera on Broadway maybe 4 years. No, like actually no more. 5-6 years ago, and at the time I saw it, it was the longest running.
It still is. It's been since like 1982 or something like that. It's been there for a while.
Yeah.
I actually like that one, and I really like "Music of the Night" is a great song.
Oh,
I love
that whole show is
Phantom of
phenomenal.
the Opera is actually the first Broadway show I ever saw.
Oh. So how
Yeah.
are you keeping? I mean, you've got a kid at home. I know Darian's got Tristan. You've got Lincoln. How are
I
you
do.
guys keeping the children entertained, as it were? Because it's easy to keep adults entertained.
What?
Liquor and streaming.
I kicked him out this week. I sent him to his grandmother's house because she's a teacher and she's on spring break. So I'm like, you go over there and you take him and you do stuff with him.
Spring break for everyone.
He needed a change. Yeah, exactly. And he needed a change of scenery. So
Meanwhile, there was a moment today in the backyard. Tristan was just spinning around.
Was he being Kylie Minogue?
I was like, "This is where we've gotten to. This is where we've gotten."
well, that'll be up next week because next week my mother-in-law goes back to work, so I have to figure something out. And I'm working from home, and David's conducting live classes twice a week. So
That's right, because he's a teacher.
How that
Right.
goes.
Right. So how's your Netflixing?
Guys, I have to.
Oh.
Darren, I know that you've been ignoring me, and you keep like moving. You don't pay attention to when I tell you to do this.
No, I do, and I am
No,
gonna
you
watch
don't.
it.
Are you talking?
I
Are you gonna say
mean-
Tiger King?
I feel like nobody is doing the quarantine right unless they're watching Tiger King.
We saw it last weekend.
Um,
We started watching it Saturday night and finished it Sunday morning.
We started watching it Monday and we finished it yesterday. And oh my god, what a ride!
How many parts? How many
Seven?
episodes is it?
It's seven episodes.
Okay, I'm gonna watch.
It keeps
tonight.
you engaged.
I'll start tonight. I promise.
I will say
Yeah,
I've been hearing about Joe Exotic for like a good year now because this other podcast that I listen to has been keeping like everybody updated because it's such a crazy story and they do a little snippet of it. So when I heard that there was going to be a documentary on it, I was like, you just tell me when and where to show up. I had no idea. And I had no idea it was even that nuts.
I didn't know anything about it, but I do know about the Homestead one, Zoological Wildlife Foundation. That one I did know about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the guy that claims that Scarface is based on his life.
Oh yeah.
But
how cute are his
but
monkeys though?
I feel like there's 100 guys in Miami that also make that claim. Like, like a bunch of vehicles in Miami say that they're the inspiration for.
Every marimbero from the '80s thinks they were the inspiration for Scarface.
Everybody who came on Marietta and has money.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like we're in such a bad place, and it's like they knew and they waited for it. Like, I want to know if it was originally supposed to premiere when it did, or if it was going to be later, and they were just like, you know what, everybody's calm, let's just drop this fucking
no
bomb of crazy.
It was always scheduled for this weekend, so it was just total serendipity. Yeah, it was always scheduled.
That's a really crazy coincidence then, I love
the meme that you shared today, by the way, because it is like a Stefan club waiting to happen.
It is exactly like a Stefan club. It has murder plots, it has mullets, it has polygamy,
a one-armed lesbian.
Wow, and one documentary. Wow,
a one-armed lesbian. It's a double amputee.
What have I been missing?
It has a sex cult.
It's wonderful.
It's wild.
Every time you're like, okay, this is the craziest moment, it's like, hold my beer.
Oh my god, I said that. I was telling Mary, but Mary and Vanessa started watching it yesterday. So and we talked about it on Woobro last night. We're gonna do like a follow-up episode tomorrow because when they're done. But I told them, like, every time that you think you have the lay of the land and you think you have it figured out, it like punches you in the face with something else. And like, I think my favorite part might be like the country music that's involved with it.
Oh, his songs and his music videos.
Yeah,
he has a pleasant voice.
I'm what?
He has a pleasant voice. I mean, if he had just stuck to that.
Yeah, his voice isn't bad. I was telling David that I'm like, why do I strangely like not hate this? So I also want to know, like, if he's making money from these songs now. Like, I have to imagine that, like, the downloads are going up. I know that in the depths of my soul, nothing would make Joe Exotic happier than knowing that he's literally bringing America together during the quarantine.
It's true.
Because if we cannot agree on anything else, we can agree that this is the best thing to come out of the quarantine.
And isn't it nice? Isn't it nice that we're being united by a gay redneck polygamist who was indicted on conspiracy of murder?
who also won
Oh my God! Now you're ruining it for me.
who also won 19% of the vote for his gubernatorial run.
Oh yeah, when he ran for governor.
When I saw that he won 19%,
Nothing-
I was like, that's a lot.
By the way, Darian, nothing of this is ruining it for you because I mean this is all public record.
No,
Like I mean
nothing.
this is and they tell you straight up, like they tell you at the beginning that it's just like he's in jail. So I mean it's wonderful.
I
Wow.
really need you. I really need you to watch it. And
No, I
really,
am. I'm gonna start tonight.
I'm gonna need you to just text me along your journey.
Whatever, Ishmael. Stephanie and I have conversations on DM as well. It's not only you.
We do. I have independent relationships with both of you, and there's plenty of me to go around. So,
So,
oh my God,
Anyway.
how are you guys doing during your quarantine?
I'm okay. I'm not taking it as well. I mean, I'm not taking it badly. I mean, I'm not pulling my hair out, but I got a
feel
little
like you
itchy
are
every now and then.
I feel like you're about to pull your hair out.
Can we-
Yeah,
seem
maybe
to be
I am.
about to.
Can we discuss what you were doing today that had you a little like exasperated, Darian?
What?
Trying to teach Tristan how to ride a bike.
Oh, I was trying to teach Tristan. I was like, you know what, Tristan? He didn't even ask for it. You know what, Tristan? You have the wheels in your bike too long. I'm going to teach you how to ride the damn bike. And he's like, I don't want to. And I'm like, come on.
This is what's happening now. We are in
This is
quarantine.
what's happening. And then I finally talked him into it. And we had a practice run, which of course went terribly. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's go back home and let's watch some videos on YouTube on how to do this. And the very first video I put, it was like, obviously a dad recording his kid, and the kid took off with nothing, no supervision. And I'm like, that's 1% of
Oh, wow.
kids.
Wow, you set him up to fail.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm telling you, there was a moment earlier today that he was spinning around in the backyard, and I go, damn it, I think we need to do something. Because, the thing with children is that, they don't have any social interaction with other kids.
Right.
So even if you take him outside and you do something, he's enjoying it for that moment, but he has no social interaction with no one, not his classmates, not his cousins. And that takes a toll on them because they don't really, they know what's going on, but they don't really have a grasp of what's going on.
Right, no, they don't. I've actually been thinking about doing like a Zoom play date for him and just getting like a couple of friends and doing a little Zoom meeting for them.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it's going to be all of them yelling at each other at the same time.
Well, actually, Tristan did one last week with his class. And at first, there was a lot of yelling, but a bunch of kids got on, and they were on for like a good 45 minutes. And after, because I think they first are kind of like, oh my God, you're in my computer or you're on my phone. Once they get past that, they all have like their little conversations and all that stuff. So I thought that helped for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I do that next week.
Baby's first conference call.
Baby's first conference call. We're going to work on some house stuff. We bought paint, and we're going to paint some stuff. I've been organized. Every closet. My house has never been cleaner. My closets have never been so organized.
I have done none of those things. Just so we're clear, I've done a lot of cooking, but I have done none of those things.
I'm cooking a lot. I'm cooking 3 meals a day.
You are. I'm loving
raw-
seeing your
Yes,
meals. By
and
the
you've
way,
been cooking some good stuff.
yeah.
Bro, but look, I really like to cook. I know some people think it's a chore, but I genuinely love to cook. I love to
Same.
make shit up and try new things. And I didn't cook today because today we ordered pizza from like a local pizza place. We wanted to support a local business.
Ooh,
But,
support further. Who did you order from?
We ordered from Mike's Pizza. I've been going there probably my
Oh, I love my pizza.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So David wanted to get Anthony's Coal-Fired, which I love. Nothing against them, but they belong to they were sold off 2 years ago to a big corporation, so they're no longer a local business. So I was like, let's order from Mike so that that way we're supporting a local business.
Yeah, we've been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like every sometimes.
It's very important to support your local business.
Sometimes Jose will be like, let's order from Doc B's. And I'm like, I love Doc B's, but they're a national chain. They'll be fine. So it's like, he's like, Tab 42. And I literally had to go online because I'm like, okay, they only have locations in Miami and Broward. So yes, we can order. Like that's it. It's 5 locations, and they're only Broward and Dade County.
I love Anthony's Coal Fire Pizza, but I know the amount that they sold for it. Like they'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, you know,
So you know that when they first like came on the scene, you know, it was probably like 10 years ago.
yeah.
I remember when I
You were the one who introduced me to them, Darren.
Yeah, because when I first had them, I'm like, this is like the best pizza I've ever had. And I would always get the meatball ricotta.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
this is
so good.
I'm like, this is the best pizza I've had. I ate so much Anthony's Scoville pizza that I'm like over it now. I'm like, I'm okay. Like I still go, especially to the one in Kendall. But you know, like I used to like, I was obsessed with it, and it's too much of a good thing, I guess.
Well, we followed them. We followed them down from Fort Lauderdale because we had one time. Actually, we found them one time years ago. We were going, ironically enough, to go see Phantom of the Opera at Broward Center in Fort Lauderdale. And they're like right by there, so we just stumbled into it. And then we would go to Fort Lauderdale just to eat it.
Oh yeah.
And then we followed it down as it made its way into Miami. So then we went to the Aventura one. We would go to the Aventura one because we went to college near there. So we would go there, and then we went to the Pinecrest one, and then they finally opened up the Kendall one. So.
Yeah, no, I love their chicken wings, their meatballs. I mean, no, they're great, but it's like wow. I'm still like a little bit like. Now though, because I ate so much of that ricotta meatball pizza.
Well, I gotta tell you, we kind of did that too because for a long time it was like our every Thursday or Friday that's where we would go, and I'm like, I need a break.
Yeah.
But
actually, now that you said that, do you know has been a victim of the coronavirus?
Oh my God, no! A lot of things have been a victim of the coronavirus, and it's gone too far. I mean, a lot of my Broadway people have coronavirus, and I'm not okay. Like Laura Bell Bundy yesterday said
she does
coronavirus, and she put it on her Instagram feed.
Oh wow.
Okay. Well, what they were supposed to record this week?
Who?
Friends was supposed to be recorded this week.
Oh, the reunion show. I know.
Yeah.
Listen, the Atlanta Housewives reunion was supposed to record this week. Andy Cohen has coronavirus.
Well.
I know you guys don't care about him, but
that's what you get for being a tramp at Winter Party. Just saying.
Actually, Stephanie, I have to admit that when I first heard that he had coronavirus, I thought about you, and I go, I think I should call her to see how she's coping with this.
You just like 10 people texted me the same thing. Everybody was like, oh my God, Steph, are you okay?
That's great.
Yeah, like listen, like Broadway shut down because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like Disney shut down. Like we're not in a good place, you guys.
There's no concerts, nothing.
But when Andy Cohen announced that he had coronavirus, I'm like, this shit has gone too far.
That's it.
Eso demuestra.
Has coronavirus.
Eso demuestra.
Harvey Weinstein has a coronavirus.
Eso demuestra que no discrimina.
I don't feel bad that Harvey Weinstein has coronavirus.
No, I don't feel bad for him either. But I'm like, yo, it doesn't discriminate.
No, and you know what? Ironically enough, that's why David and I were having a conversation about this the other day, and he was like, that's why people started paying attention to it, like government-wise, because like it doesn't discriminate and it could get anybody. Like it's not like one of these things that's like a poor person's disease, that like that's not really their problem.
We knew it didn't discriminate. The fact that it hit Weinstein and Tom Hanks. I mean, you can't get further on the spectrum.
I know, Tom Hanks. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. If Tom and Rita got it, none of us are safe.
No,
none of us are safe. None of us are safe.
But bueno, Stephanie, I do hope that you stay safe.
Because it's in the Senate. Rand Paul has it, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's quarantined.
Yeah.
Ay, ojalá que le dé a Mitch McConnell.
Stay quarantined. You should stay quarantined.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm glad to hear that my buddies are doing okay.
Yes,
yeah, we're hanging in there.
Likewise, once this is over, we'll just have a big old. You and me will have a big old Broadway night, and then we'll figure out what to do the three of us.
Okay, when this is over, what we could do is we could record an actual in-person episode. We could have our yearly Mamas of Merlot, podcast featuring the Mamas of Merlot.
That's true.
And then Stephanie can make her macaroni again.
Qué rico.
Okay.
No pressure.
What? No pressure.
So anyway, bueno, thank you so much for being with us.
Of
All right.
course.
All right.
Anytime, guys.
Bye, amor.
Thanks for inviting
Bueno.
me.
Bye.
Bye,
Of
guys.
course. Bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Bueno, so Burger Beast is good. Stephanie's hanging in there. Stephanie and David.
Yeah.
So we're we're okay.
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
Some of our favorite people are doing good, so it's okay.
Yeah, and some of our other favorite people are doing great. And you know what? In upcoming episodes, because again, I don't think we're gonna be. I'm working from home until at least the 13th of April. That's what they told us. So clearly, you and I are gonna have many more
It's probably gonna be
opportunities.
longer than that.
So we're gonna have many more opportunities to patch in some of our peeps and see what's what.
Yeah. So we actually do have an interview for this episode.
From Better Times.
From Better Time. The last public outing for a while. A couple of weeks back when we were at Carnival on the Mile, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Luis Aguirre. Everybody knows Luis Aguirre. He's hometown boy, done good.
Yeah. If you're local, you know him from he's a reporter, a news anchor, I guess, down here on currently PLG. He was on Deco Drive for a while there. He was also part of the nationally syndicated show The Insider. And
he was in a little movie called Sex in the City.
A little show called Sex in the City. You may have heard of it.
Yeah, a little indie little thing.
Yeah, I think it was streamed maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so we have his interview coming up next.
Yep.
So everybody, this has been an interesting ride, but we're all stuck in this together. So thank you for joining us in this episode. And here's our interview with Luis Aguirre.
Let me tell you.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are actually doing a few live recordings here at Carnival on the Mile, which we've only been talking about for the last 2 weeks. And we have with us hometown reporter, celebrity, all-around nice guy, Luis Aguirre.
Yes, thanks for joining us, Louis.
My pleasure. Did you guys know that I travel with my own soundtrack?
Oh yeah.
Well, that was that was on the writer, wasn't it?
Yes.
I come with a band.
So thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, brother.
So how is it today? You've been going. I think you went to Cork and Ford.
So I've been corking and forking.
In that order?
That didn't come out right, but yeah. Yeah, I was at the Cork and Fork event. I was emceeing it. Everything benefits the Kiwanis Little Havana, who do so much for this community. They put the magic in the Magic City. They do so much for our kids, for our youth, and so it was my pleasure to be out here and MC and do some Cork and Fork with them. It was amazing. Fun.
Yeah. So can I just say, I love that we've got Luis Aguirre, but at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, this is the episode where you're going to tell that DJ and I do not have professional audio voices, because Luis Aguirre is one of the best voices for TV, radio, books on tape that you will ever hear in your life.
Yeah, and it's not processed. It's the real thing. Now we're gonna sound you and I like Alvin and the Chipmunks
next to him.
I travel with my own. What do they call those things that Britney sings with?
The auto-tune.
Auto-tune. This is I am right now on auto-tunes right now, so that's why this is not really. It's not my real voice. This is auto-tunes.
But that's why he's Luis Aguirre and we're not.
Exactly.
And we're not. Exactly.
So, Luis, tell us a little bit. You've been all around the world. You've been all over the U.S. What do you think? Something like Carnival on the Mile. What do you think makes this so unique?
It's local, brother. That's what I love about this event. Calle Ocho, everybody from all over the world comes, and we celebrate Latin culture, and that's amazing. But what I love about Carnival on the Mile, it's in the 22nd year, and it's in the heart of the city beautiful. And if you're from Miami, you're from Coral Gables, you know what's up, you know the deal, you're here. And you bump into people that maybe some people you don't want to bump into, but you know them. Because Miami's this big, man. It's this big. And we all know each other, and it's incestuous, and it's messy, and it's beautiful, and it's Latino, and it's Anglo. and it's African American, and it's everything. And this personifies, I think, the soul of the city, and I love it so much because of that.
You know, I'm glad you said that because so often on our podcast, since, you know, our whole angle is Miami, you know, people ask us to describe Miami, and I'm like, I think Miami is one of these cities that's so hard to describe because it's so much, it could be so many things at once.
It's a beautiful mess is what it is.
Exactly.
It's a messy, beautiful city. It's a messy, beautiful, sexy city is what it is.
But at the same time, like you said, like it has like a lot of small town qualities, if you will. Like everybody knows each other.
Well, because we have hoods, right?
Yeah.
And no one really knows that Miami is separated. You know, Paris has the arrondissements, and in New York you have the boroughs. But in Miami we have hoods. We have Coral Gables, you have South Miami, you have South Beach, you have North Beach, you have Mid Beach, you have Bell Harbor.
You have Westchester.
You have North Miami, you have Westchester, you have La Sahuesera. I mean, come on, man. You got everything. It's a big salsuela of mess.
Yes.
And that's why we love it, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, the way he pronounced Wechete, he's clearly a Miami boy.
Yeah.
I'm from Wechete,
You're
okay?
from Wechete?
I'm from Wechete. My
no,
first
espérate,
house
where?
was at 98th Place, 2132 Southwest 98th Place. Now, don't stalk those people. They're very, very nice people. I knocked on their door the other day because I wanted to see the old bedroom where I grew up. True story. And that was kind of creepy, but I did it because I was there. And because that's the house that I grew up in, and I love that house. But anyway, but don't do that. Don't go to that house.
No. You realize there are probably people on their way now as they're listening to this.
There's now a restraining order on my ass.
Right,
but-
exactly. Yeah.
Can I say ass on the podcast?
You can say more than that if you wish.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
De ahí
Okay.
pa'lante. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, so you're on WPLG now,
I came back home.
right? You came
Yeah.
back home. I know that. I mean, most people I think first knew you on Deco Drive, on
Yes.
ESPN.
But-
Channel 10. I remember your Channel 10 from years ago.
All right, so how old are you guys?
40. I own it.
Actually,
I'm 40.
since we're among friends here, I remember you on Channel 10 when you had a little bit of a mushroom cut in like the 90s.
I did. I had, dude. That was the leftover of my Duran Duran Flock of Seagulls kind of nightmare that was on my head. But yes, you're absolutely right. I had a lot of hair. I wish I had that still. But anyway, but before that, that was not my first.
Hair, really. Come on.
The first gig on TV was not at Channel 10. Where was it? See if you know your Louis Aguirre trivia. My first job on television.
Was it local?
It was local.
By Kids for Kids?
Sorry?
By Kids for Kids? I don't know.
I heard something completely different, but no.
No.
No, it was before the internet. Before the internet.
internet.
Before the internet.
I'm gonna go with Whammy.
No, it was Canal 51. I was Noticentro 51. My first job in TV was in Spanish.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
man.
never knew that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So true story. It's like, so back in the day, it was 1988, and there was a shortage of young Latin American men that could do TV. And so they recruited me out of college. But the problem was that I had spent the half of my semesters in France because I was a French major. And so I had dedicated my studies to learning how to speak French. So I came back speaking a very strange Spanish with a French accent. And so I had to actually sit down with my grandmother at night and read the newspaper in Spanish to practice my Spanish so I could speak Spanish good enough to speak on television. And that still didn't work, man. They had to hire a grammatician. I wasn't allowed to go live. It was a big Miami mess. But you know what? They gave me my first big break. They put me on TV. They believed in me. And what you see is what you got, you know, so.
Wow. I would say it worked out for you.
I think it worked out for me more than it worked out for them, but they were very generous. They gave me my first break.
You know what? I'm happy we're talking about this because you're so established at this point that sometimes the people forget when people are established how they started.
Oh, no, man. I was a big hot mess. I honestly, I made every mistake you could possibly make in television. I made it. The good thing was I was young. I was a young kid. I was 21 years old. And I learned on the job. And what an experience. Wow. And to work in this market and to learn from the best. I mean, I worked with Alina Mayo, Leticia Callaba, Ambrosio. They all taught me, man. They took me under their wing. They taught me. I cut my teeth with those people.
Now, you've done a little bit of everything from entertainment news and celebrities.
Easy.
hard,
There are parameters to this interview.
to hard within your career to hard news reporting. Is there an area of journalism that you just prefer or
right
have
now,
a sweet spot
right
for?
now. So, and this is me talking from my heart. For me, the greatest gift about coming back to Miami is that I'm very concerned about what's happening to our world and our planet and our environment. And Local 10 has given me the platform to actually pursue environmental stories. And I want to let the people know what is happening, what we are doing to our planet. And it is up to all of us to save it. And we can all do our part. And so that is the biggest blessing of coming back to Miami is having this platform to talk about issues that really move me, that really touch my heart, and that I'm very passionate about. And that is legit.
Yeah, and that's so important because like the tides here are literally changing. Like Miami Beach now has that king tide or whatever.
The king tides are devastating, not just because the sea level is rising, but what they're doing to our storm drainage, to our sewers, to our septic tanks. All of that nastiness is going into the bay. And Biscayne Bay is in a very fragile state right now. We're at a tipping point. We're either going to continue as a beautiful, thriving seagrass ecosystem, or we're going to become an algae system with no life. And so it's up to us. We are the ones that are going to decide the fate of Biscayne Bay. Everybody that lives in South Florida will decide what Biscayne Bay will be in the future. And so we all have to buckle up and make the necessary changes to save Biscayne Bay and save our beaches.
What are some of the changes that I think that the average person could?
Well, number one, we need the political will. We need to put pressures on our local leaders to actually make those hard choices and put that first. Not developers first, but put our infrastructure first. We have to modernize our infrastructure. It cannot continue like this. We are dumping millions of gallons of raw sewage into our waterways every year. We are polluting our waterways with runoff from fertilizers. We are taking storm drainage that is picking up all the muck, all the chemicals, all the stuff you see on the street that's going straight to the bay. That cannot continue. It will not sustain life. It's not for us. We've been blessed. You've lived here 40 years. You lived here 30 some odd years. I've lived here so many years. And I've enjoyed living in South Florida. This is the best place in the world. It's magical. It's so magical. This is our legacy. What kind of a world are we going to leave our children and their children? It's not right. They should be able to enjoy the magic of living in South Florida the way you and I did. Come on, man. It's for the kids. Do it. Do it. It's worth it.
It's just sad that it's even something that like is debatable.
Yeah, that we have to have a conversation about.
It should be something
like,
obvious.
A lot of people don't know what's really going on. And I think that if a lot of people woke up and found out the truth, they would be more involved. But we need leaders. We need leadership. We need people to make the tough decisions here in the city. Come on, man.
Well,
make this happen.
Well, you're well known and passionate.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about making a run?
No way. Have you seen? Are you watching what's happening right now? Come on, man.
We are.
I mean,
you could be like a comptroller or something.
Just,
I don't know.
No, I'm just going to be a yeller. I'm going to scream and yell and make noise. That's what I'm best at.
Hey, sometimes that's what it takes.
That's what it takes
know,
a lot of
that's
times.
it. Yeah.
All right, so I gotta say, you mentioned legacy, and we've said you've done a little bit of everything. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. So where were you going to take Charlotte on that date in Sex and the City before she showed up?
I have no idea. But if you saw, I went home with the guy, not with Charlotte. So there you go.
That says a lot. I mean,
So-
and he had chicken soup.
So I had.
So it was that's dinner and a movie right there.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Here he is talking about the environment and how passionate he is about that, and you bring up Sex and the City.
Well,
Is there going to be a
listen,
third
everything
one?
goes back to Sex in the City. So.
Listen, if I don't bring it up, we're gonna get people commenting and sending DMs. It's like, wasn't he on Sex
Can
and
I
the
tell you
City?
my story behind that? So I was in New York and I had just stopped working for Fox News. Don't judge me. And I was trying to become an actor, and I was doing really experimental theater in these really small, dark black box spaces in New York that you have to drop 25 cents at. Never mind. But anyway. Anyway.
I don't think you're using black box the same way that.
Wait. So my agent sends me to this audition. I didn't have HBO, so I didn't know what Sex and the City was. And at that point, there was just season 1. And so they sent me this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be like Skinamax. What am I going to tell my parents? I'm going to be doing soft porn. I don't know if I can do this, whatever.
You thought it was Red Shoe Diaries.
I thought legit, straight up Red Shoe Diaries. I thought I was going to have to get naked. I had no idea. So I go on this audition. I read the words. They cast me. I do the thing, and then I realize, oh my God, by that point I started researching the show. I'm like, holy crap, they chose me to be on this show? What is wrong with these people? And I mean, you get to set, and these girls, they're women now, but back then they were girls. They were so cool and so down to earth, and they knew that they had captured magic in a bottle. And they were so generous in sharing that with everybody who was a part of that. Even if you were a day player or a background actor, you were a part of that family. For that moment in time, you were a part of that family. And I'll never forget that experience. Each and every one of those women were just absolutely genuine and wonderful and welcoming and lovely. And it's one of my greatest memories of being in this crazy, crazy entertainment career.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's all. Well,
All right.
there you go. You got the Sex and the City question.
You know what? I had to. There would be people who would like tar and feather me in the street if I did.
Hey, thank you so much for being on Pero Let Me Tell
my
You.
pleasure.
We, we always say here, you're the embodiment of the people we like to profile here. People that are from Miami, that represent Miami, that do well for the community. You're the type of people we love to profile and talk about. So thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. I really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thanks, guys.
And you catch Louis on WPLG Channel 10 doing the news
Screaming and yelling about the environment.
in that order. Thanks, man.
Pay attention.
Save.
And we're back.
Okay, I stand by the fact that we need to have guests moving forward that have worse voices than us, like as a standing mandate.
Yeah, that could be on our rider.
Yes,
on our contract.
exactly.
Oh, that's right. We don't have contracts.
Exactly.
Other people do.
Porque ya son like
Was that salty?
a little salty and a little shady. So I'm not gonna hate on you. Pero oye, ya son 2 semanas que our guests have great voices.
Yeah, because Chris
Chris.
had a great voice.
Cubano Chris and now Louis
Exactly.
Aguirre. I mean, who are we gonna have next?
Chris was-
James Earl Jones? Like, I mean,
No, Chris was so like, oh, nobody's told me I've ever had a voice. I'm like, what? Like who have you been talking to? And then Louis Aguirre, it's like, I actually, know what I wanted to ask him? I was like, do you have an insurance on your voice?
like Tina Turner and her legs.
Yeah, so no, he was fun to have, and actually, what I really enjoyed about him is his whole thing with the environment, because
he's very passionate.
Obviously the environment, we all know it's important, but one of the things that has, and I think we discussed this in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, with the whole coronavirus thing is because the world has literally shut down. It's incredible how nature works and how nature has kind of reclaimed so many areas in such a short amount of time. The pollution clouds, specifically around like China, have all but diminished. Venice is much cleaner. There's other areas around the world that are reporting that like the pollution levels are down.
Yeah.
So I guess the silver lining in this, if you want to find one, is that it's given a little bit of a breather to the environment, to the world.
Yeah.
Because think about just in the United States, all the millions of people that are not driving, and those are emissions that are going up in the air.
Meanwhile, in the definition of irony, Greta, whatever her last name is, has the coronavirus. So
Greta who?
Greta, I can't remember her last name. Gunterberg, whatever, la chiquita.
The reporter von Strung.
No, Chico, la chiquita, who's the environmentalist.
Oh, her. What about her?
She has the coronavirus, just as the Earth is reclaiming itself.
She got the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, that's nature messing with the wrong person.
I'm telling you, it's like the definition of irony.
Yeah, holy shit. So, anyway, bueno, everybody, thank you for joining us in episode 103. I know the last few episodes.
So wait,
have been
we're not gonna give out last
strange and
sodas. We're not gonna. We have to keep things as
Well,
normal,
you know what?
sir.
I think our last sodas just should go out. I mean, I think for these special editions, I don't know about you, but it should just go out to everybody. I mean, I think on the large part, as you said earlier on, there's been a lot of good behavior. We both in the past have said how upset at humanity we are for many reasons. But I think that on the most part, everybody kind of has stepped up. There's always going to be idiots and naysayers.
Unfortunately.
People who are just difficult. And I'm putting that very nicely.
Gente que gusta joder por joder.
But I think that most people have stepped it up, and whether it's something small like promoting local businesses to something big, like things that are government related and all that, people have done what they need to do, and most people have done what they need to do. Just something as simple as social distancing. That's doing your part. So.
Yep. Listen,
That's our last soda.
We're Cuban, and if we can social distance, anybody can.
Man, I was gonna say social distancing for a Hispanic is not the same.
No. It's a whole shift of life.
I went to go see my parents today, and I was like 10 feet away from them, and I'm like, oh.
I saw that. I saw
My
the
grandmother
video. It was
was
great.
in the window. Yeah, you
great.
saw it.
I saw
I was like, Mima por la ventana, and I'm like, Mima. I'm like, Angela. So yeah, social distancing for Hispanics should be its own little like section in the news.
It should be. It should be. Actually, we should set a world record for it, quite frankly.
I mean, do you think that social distancing in like Miami is the same as social distancing in like Akron, Ohio? I mean, come on.
No. Not even a little bit. No.
So anyway, well, everybody, yeah, as I was saying, I know these episodes have been a little bit off, our regular format, but then again, everybody's life is off the regular
life is off the regular
so,
format right now.
So we hope everybody listened, laughed, and learned. And if you can find a pastelito, if you can find a croqueta, and you can find a jupiña, grab them. And thank you for joining.
And make sure you buy them from a local business.
Of course. Well, let's be honest. I mean, if you're buying a croqueta, pastelito, and
Jupiña.
a croqueta and a pastelito, bueno, no, jupiña, they're all local. I mean,
true, but you could buy
you're
it
not
from...
gonna go get a pastelito at the Cheesecake Factory.
No, but you could be buying it from Winn-Dixie, or you could be buying it from a local bakery.
Okay. I think most people buy it from a local bakery. I'm going to go ahead and on a limb here and say that most people in Miami buy their pastelitos from a local bakery.
Fair enough, unless you're Martha Darby and then you make them at home.
Well, I mean, but she's on the West Coast. So anyway.
Right.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. Stay safe, and we'll join us again next week. We'll definitely be around.
We'll be
They
here.
can quarantine us, but they're not going to quarantine the phone.
Exactly. As long as we've got a phone and an internet connection, we're fine.
We're fine. So, so thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye, mi gente. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.